show Canelo Alvarez body shots. Like maybe there's a video we could look. He's got a beautiful one where he steps in and just and rips that left to the liver, and just your body just goes deep. It just fucking shuts down. It's the weirdest feeling, man. It's like your legs stop working, everything stops working. Your whole body just seizes.
Joe Rogan said that if Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford ever fought, Alvarez would kill Crawford very badly. Even though he thought Crawford was a great fighter, he said that Canelo's size and strength would be too much for Crawford to handle. Rogan stressed that Canelo would have the clear advantage because he had fought before in heavier weight classes and was very strong. He said Canelo would beat Crawford easily if they fought face-to-face. Rogan also pointed out that the two boxers are very different in terms of size and natural strength. He said that even though Crawford has had a lot of success, he hasn't fought someone as big and dangerous as Canelo. Boxing fans had a lot to say about the talk, and some agreed with Rogan's assessment. Even though some people think Crawford's athletic skills could make Canelo weak, Better Off Rogan's words have added more buzz to the ongoing conversations about whether the two fighters could actually fight each other. This has led to more speculation about how a fight between the two champions might go. Intrigued boxing fans, but as Rogan emphasized Canelo's power and ability to deliver devastating punches could be too much for Crawford to overcome. Meanwhile, Ryan Garcia has returned to stirring the pot online, this time reigniting Twitter feuds. His latest targets Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. He dives into another round of verbal jabs. The verbal sparring among these three elite boxers has escalated lately. Crawford sat down with Logan Paul on his podcast, sharing his insights on Ryan Garcia. The real excitement ignited when Canelo Alvarez's thoughts on a possible fight with Crawford stirred up widespread debate, especially following comments from His Excellency, Turki Alalshik, which amplified the anticipation surrounding the matchup. Ryan Garcia pulled no punches in his critique of Terence Crawford while recognizing Crawford's undeniable ability. Garcia insisted that the Nebraska native doesn't match up to himself or Canelo Alvarez.
Garcia, it's pretty clear that he's tangled up in some evils and some demons right now. Do you ever try to reach out to people like that and kind of set them straight?
No, not really. I don't have a relationship with them like that. That's not my place. The guys that's around them. For you to call yourself a friend, a brother, to watch a man like that self-destruct, what type of friend are you? There's not one person in my camp right now that wouldn't grab me and be like, hey, you trick.
He praised Crawford's athletic prowess, but made it clear that in his view, Crawford still has a long way to go before hitting the stature of fighters like him or Canelo. You are a great, dedicated athlete, but you can't compare to myself or Canelo. Garcia stated he mocked Crawford, claiming he exploited everyone around him yet had little to show for it in a bold move. Garcia laid down a challenge, daring Crawford to face him head-on and settle their feud once and for all. Garcia's recent comments might have been sparked by Crawford's statements concerning Canelo Alvarez. When questioned about facing Crawford in the ring, Alvarez seemed receptive but stressed that the fight would hinge on the financial details. He went on to claim that a matchup with Crawford at 168 pounds would be a walk in the park during a chat with Shazidal and on Showtime. Porter Crawford fired back, challenging Alvarez's points, especially his stance on weight and financial issues. Crawford highlighted that Alvarez, who once faced smaller fighters like Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Amir Khan, now looked reluctant to step into the ring with him. He also cast doubt on Alvarez's financial assertions, suggesting that outside of the Mayweather bout, Alvarez's earnings from other marquee fights might not be as important as he claims. Crawford thinks that, despite this, Alvarez is hesitant to take him on due to the chance of jeopardizing his boxing reputation.
When you say, I want Canelo, is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. It's a conversation. It's not just, oh man, you will whoop his ass.
Like, yes man type stuff.
I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Masvidal.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stones. It's about now.
Moreover, Ryan Garcia has unequally voiced his stance on a potential showdown, leaving no place for doubt or confusion. In a recent interview, Garcia, renowned for his provocative remarks, dismissed Crawford as an overhyped bone and firmly stated that Alvarez would win if the two ever clashed in the ring. In an unfiltered interview with SCC's TV, Garcia didn't mince words. He labeled Crawford as a tedious fighter, saying that the attention he claims it is undeserved and that he's merely stealing boxing's money. The young boxer currently serving a doping ban even went as far as to challenge Crawford, saying, "Come see me in the ring if you think I'm talking exploded." Garcia's words were strikingly audacious, especially in light of his ongoing suspension and the uproar over his failed drug test from earlier this year. The excitement surrounding a possible showdown between Crawford and Alvarez sparked when Crawford won his 4th world title, triumphing over Israel Madrimov for the WBA super welterweight belt. Saudi Arabian boxing executive Turki Al-Sheikh showed enthusiasm for arranging the bout and even apparently extended an invitation to Alvarez. Yet Alvarez's rejection of the offer caused Al-Sheikh to lose interest in that particular clash. Now Junior Al-Sheikh is offering a new intriguing prospect to fight between Crawford and the unbeaten American star Vergil Ortiz Jr. Even though Al-Sheikh has shifted his attention to the buzz surrounding the anticipated showdown remains fervent. Boxing enthusiasts are still buzzing about the possible clash between Crawford, boasting an unblemished record of 41 victories, and Alvarez, who just faced Edgar Berlanga. Crawford, fresh off a triumphant debut in the 154-pounds division, faces the prospect of ascending to an even higher weight class to test Alvarez, who competes at 168 pounds. Alvarez, while expressing a willingness to take on Crawford, has allegedly demanded a colossal $150 million purse for the matchup. Garcia's critique of Crawford has ignited a debate over whether a possible bout between the two would truly meet the hype. He dismissed Crawford's skills, stating that despite the accolades of the Omaha fighter, he falls short of Alvarez's stature. He gets it a lot, he's not untouchable. Garcia commented, showing confidence that even he could find a way to beat Crawford. At present, each fighter is charting their own course. The possible clash between Alvarez and Crawford remains a tantalizing possibility, but Garcia's bold statements have undeniably intensified the buzz in the boxing arena. Canelo Alvarez stands as one of boxing's top superstars, his fame and reputation drawing countless challengers eager to step into the ring with the Mexican icon. Although many of these calls for a fight come from less notable fighters, some, like Terence Crawford, present a compelling and intriguing challenge for Alvarez after Crawford's landmark win against Errol Spence Jr. in 2023, which established him as the first male boxer to hold undisputed titles in 2 different divisions. He expressed a strong desire to challenge the reigning super middleweight champion. However, the Guadalajara native did not reciprocate the interest shown by Bud Alvarez, pointing out that the significant size difference between them was a major obstacle, making it impractical to pursue discussions for a fight. Crawford's clash with Israel Madrimov, marking his debut in the super welterweight division, fueled the debate among critics who argued that Bud may be undersized for the reigning super middleweight champion. Boxing icon and Hall of Famer Roy Jones Jr. has made a bold prediction about a potential bout between Bud Crawford and Saul Canelo Alvarez. In a recent chat with Fight Hub TV, stated, "Do I think Canelo can beat Bud? It's a tough fight to call. I think his size may be his best going factor, but if he goes out and boxes Bud, he's not going to beat Bud boxing. He's not, so if Bud can take his punch, he's not going to outbox Bud. What will determine the fight will be who wants it most and who has their fight plan. If Bud can get Canelo to box him, Bud will outbox him." Terence Crawford has recently claimed the WBA super welterweight title with a decisive win over Israel Madrimov, hailing from Nebraska. Crawford is eyeing the famous undisputed world titles in the 154-pounds division. His triumph over Madrimov has set him on a promising road toward achieving that goal. Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn, representing Madrimov, recently sparked controversy with a bold comment saying that if Bud doesn't land a bout with Canelo Alvarez, he may never step into the ring again. In a recent interview with Fight Hub TV, Hearn mentioned the following: "I don't think Terence Crawford will ever fight again. I think unless he gets Canelo, I don't think Crawford will fight again. He definitely won't fight. Vergil Ortiz won't rematch Madrimov. He made a lot of money, and I think he's comfortable, isn't he?" In recent years, Terence Crawford has emerged as one of boxing's most powerful forces. Crawford is now determined to cement his legacy and secure a substantial financial reward, yet turning this ambition into reality may be complicated by the intricacies involved in arranging the fight. In a recent interview with co-artist Sports Eddie Hearn, he stressed that Crawford's attention is completely devoted to this upcoming bout. He said, "I don't think Crawford fights again unless it's against Canelo Alvarez. There will be no bouts with Vergil Ortiz, no rematches with Madrimov, and he certainly won't be fighting Boots. So who are you going to fight?" This declaration highlights Crawford's steadfast commitment to confronting Canelo, effectively eliminating the chance of any alternative challengers in the interim. Arranging this eagerly awaited bout is no easy task, especially given the significant financial hurdles involved, with reports indicating a jaw-dropping $150 million to make the fight happen. The negotiations are anything but simple. Nevertheless, Crawford seems prepared to forego all other prospects in pursuit of this possibly career-defining moment until he gets the fight with Canelo. "I don't think he steps back in the ring," added Hearn, emphasizing Crawford's determination to make this showdown happen. This expected showdown has the makings of a landmark event for boxing enthusiasts globally and could greatly alter the career paths of both fighters. For Crawford, facing Canelo represent the pinnacle of his aspirations, a golden chance to cap off an already legendary career with a resounding flourish. However, the bout is still a distant dream. Even the renowned matchmaker, His Excellency Cherishing, was unable to persuade Canelo to take the challenge against Crawford. At the same time, the two-time undisputed champion is eager to face the Mexican boxing legend but is careful not to look too eager. In a related twist during the press event for Canelo Alvarez's upcoming bout with Edgar Berlanga, Eddie Hearn made a light-hearted comment about using Canelo's name to market the recent Crawford vs. Madrimov dream fight, but found the statement somewhat disrespectful. "He's trying to stay friends with him, but it's disrespectful to me, you know, because we didn't have to use Canelo's name to promote anything," Crawford told Sean Siddle on the Porterway show. That recently, boxing reporter Michael Benson sat down with Eddie Hearn to get his take on Crawford's remarks about feeling disrespected by Hearn's comments directed at Canelo. "He's a bit touchy, isn't he?" Hearn replied, pointing out that he was joking with Canelo when he made the comment. "But was he?" He said, "Well, I was and I wasn't. We don't use Canelo's name, but he was a massive talking point that week." Eddie Hearn's comments hold a grain of truth. This is the match boxing enthusiasts are eager to see, and Crawford has previously voiced a desire to take on Canelo Alvarez. "All you guys want to talk about is Crawford versus Canelo, so yeah, we're going to talk about it," he stated. Well, as expected, Hearn was quite unapologetic about his remarks. It's tough to dismiss the buzz surrounding a possible showdown between two pound-for-pound titans, and adding Canelo Alvarez to the mix certainly sparked additional excitement around Terence Crawford's last bout. It's interesting to note that Eddie Hearn said in a prior interview that it is extremely unlikely that Canelo will face Crawford. The well-known British boxing promoter stated in a previous chat with Topor that Alvarez would probably choose David Benavidez over Crawford. He said, "I think he'd pick Benavidez over Crawford because he knows he'd get the credit for that win, whereas he might not against a guy 3 divisions lower." Hearn further added, "When I met Saul, he wasn't crazy about that Crawford fight. He just felt that you have got a welterweight coming up to light middleweight, going up to super middleweight, and that he wouldn't get any credit for that win."
Are you talking the whole meal?
So we said we have to use your name to send the show.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what I think.
You good? Everything good?
Yeah.
Good. See you in a minute.
Recently, Canelo Alvarez discussed the possibility of a bout with Terence Crawford in an interview with Boxing Scene. For this matchup to materialize, Crawford must first square off against Sebastian Fundora as required by the World Boxing Organization. "I'm not saying that fight with Crawford can't happen. The order doesn't matter," said the Jalisco native. Canelo, the reigning champion of the super middleweight division, recently revealed that Cherishing had suggested a bout with Crawford in February 2025. Alvarez might still have a few more years left in his boxing career, but many fans worrying that Crawford's time at the top could be running out. As for the monster Naoya Inoue, he is still only 31, indicating he has plenty of prime years ahead for those who have watched these legends ascend to the heights of the sport. The question remains, what does the future hold for them? What becomes of the legendary people once they finally retire? Who will take the lead and continue their storied legacies? These are the questions that seem to perplex former 2-division champion Timothy "Tim" Bradley, mirroring the anxiety felt by many fans who fear this inevitable shift. Just last month, Crawford added the WBA light middleweight championship to his collection, while Ino recently protected his undisputed title once more. The Mexican sensation is set to make his next ring performance in just a few days. Canelo's gone once Crawford decides to hang him up, once no decides to hang him up. I mean, who do we have to hold on to, guys? Asked the Desert Storm. He was interested as to who would be these multi-division world champion successors. The former world champion, known for his epic trilogy with the legendary Manny Pacquiao, has called on fans to cherish and honor these extraordinary athletes while they are still in their prime and actively competing. But why? Because once they are gone, man, boxing is going to be kind of dead. "I'm not going to lie," said the Desert Storm. Upon careful inspection, it's possible that Bradley could draw inspiration from some heavyweight legends in just 3 months. Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk are set to fight again. Usyk has solidified his reputation with an Olympic gold medal, Unify, and undisputed cruiserweight titles, and has now claimed the honor of being the first undisputed heavyweight champion of the century. As Usyk approaches his 38th birthday in January, this December rematch might be one of his final bouts before he considers retirement. Tyson Fury, is also not far behind despite his public pledge to fight at least 5 more times before retiring. The Mancunian may well be nearing the final stretch of his illustrious career in many ways. Timothy Bradley's reflection is right on goal once Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford Nolly Eno and Usyk hang up their gloves. Who will possess the grit, determination, and willingness to give it all to send to boxing's pinnacle? It's a sobering thought for enthusiasts of the sport. However, the opposing viewpoint is just as persuasive. The old guard must step away to give the new generation a chance to make their mark. Some might point to a lull in boxing after the eras of Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, and Lennox Lewis, but this void was short. Fighters like Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao quickly stepped in to fill the gap. After growing up watching legends like Alvarez and Crawford, it's hard for many fans to picture anyone else stepping into their shoes. However, change is necessary. Embracing this change is important for the sport's continuity and vitality. Boxing will endure and grow. Meanwhile, there is speculation about the only one fight to be made for Canelo Alvarez after his clash with Edgar Berlanga. The majority, including Adam Catterall of Top Rank, think David Benavidez ought to be in the opposing corner. Benavidez, a former WBC super middleweight champion, has clearly positioned himself as the top contender for Canelo's 168 pounds title. The Mexican monster held the WBC mandatory position for over a year, a status he earned by decisively defeating former world champions David Lemieux, Caleb Plant, and Demetrius Andrade. Despite being the former pound-for-pound king, he has displayed a lack of urgency in finalizing the fight, much to the frustration of the boxing community. "I don't understand how we've ended up at the Edgar Berlanga fight," Cattle told TalkSport from Vegas. He said, "He is not really, in my opinion, the right guy to be dancing with the best 168-pounder on the planet, but having said that, there were a couple of other recent opponents that I could say the exact same thing about. The best fight at 168 pounds, Sim versus David Benavidez. Hope it materializes, and there are people out there that think Benavidez can beat Canelo." Irritated by the prolonged wait for his chance against Canelo, Benavidez ascended to the light heavyweight division in June, where he claimed the WBC interim title, defeating Alexander Usyk. He is now required to contend with the winner of the highly anticipated 175-pound showdown between Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev, set to take place on October 12. Cater all further added, "The Canelo has been there, done it, got the t-shirt. We all saw what Floyd did to him years and years ago. A bit of experience, a bit of ring IQ. He could navigate a fight with David Benavidez, and I think if the money is on the table for him, I think we'll take it." And to answer your question, yes, absolutely. Has to happen next because it should be happening now. The prospect of a Canelo versus Benavidez fight seems more elusive than ever, with former IBF super lightweight champion Paulie Malignaggi casting doubt on whether "I don't care who Canelo fights if he would vacate the titles. Personally, I've been saying this for 2 years. I think David Benavidez runs him over like a train running over a car that's stuck in the train tracks." Malaghi told TalkSport's Talk Boxing Show. He added, "I stick with that. His apprehension to fight the mandatory continuously only cements my view. I don't think he's going to fight Benavidez. The only reason I want to see him fight Benavidez is for the belts, because I don't even think it would be a good fight. I'm more excited about other things than I am about Canelo." Terence Crawford looks to be Canelo's most likely opponent going forward. As stated before, Turki Alalshik has long had a super fight at the pinnacle of his boxing ambitions. Recently, he stressed that Bud Crawford is solely interested in a showdown with Canelo Alvarez. Crawford has been directed to battle WBO and WBC super welterweight title holder Sebastian Fundora, a high-stakes unification bout. However, it remains uncertain if Crawford will proceed with the match. But even with the mounting pressure from fans and the media, Canelo has maintained a calm regarding the upcoming matchups. He consistently asserts that while he's open to considering them if the financial terms are appealing, he firmly believes they won't enhance his legacy. It seems he holds a special regard for Crawford, especially now that Crawford has recently joined Canelo in the Elite 4-weight world champion circle. Before this milestone, Crawford secured a career-defining victory against Errol Spence Jr., the one rival Canelo considers important among his 40-fight record. According to TMZ, Canelo said, "Look, I always say I respect Terence Crawford. He's a very good fighter, but he's just one big fight. If you see his record, he's just beat one good fighter, Errol Spence. Other than that, I don't think he's beat another great fighter like Spence. He did a really good job with Spence. It almost looked very easy. I knew Terence Crawford was a great boxer." Crawford has claimed titles in lightweight, super lightweight, welterweight, and now super welterweight, gaining undisputed dominance in 2 of those divisions along his rise to pound-for-pound supremacy. He defeated opponents such as Sean Porter, Kell Brook, Julius Indongo, Victor Postal, and Ricky Burns. Yet none of these wins seemed to move the needle for Canelo. Even yet he stated in the interview that he is still up for the fight, although a little apathetically. He said, "You never know in fighting. We'll see in the future. Many in the sports world think Crawford would give up if he can't win the match against Canelo." When Nanik Akopian questioned Alvarez about why he thought the battle with Bud was so easy, he alluded to the disparity in weight. He said, "You know what we saw in the last fight with him against Israel Madrimov? I think that's why there are weight GHT classes. That's what I think. It's an easy fight for me." Crawford claimed a unanimous decision win over Madrimov to secure the WBA super welterweight world title. However, the fight broke his run of 10 straight stoppages, sparking speculation that his power may not be as effective in a higher weight class as expected. Canelo stated that he will accept an offer if one is made, though he said, "Why not? We are in fighting." The Mexican chose to return the attention to Berlanga after being pressed about how much he would charge for the altercation. He said, "You know already. You already asked me, and I already told you. Right now I'm focused 100% on my fight on Saturday. You know the answer, buddy. But why would Crawford, who usually fought in lighter weight classes, seek back with the unified super middleweight champion, given the considerable weight disparity and possible risks involved? It's a bold move." In his most recent bout at 154 pounds, Crawford battled Israel Madrimov in a grueling contest that went the full distance, eventually securing a unanimous decision victory. In this vein, Terence Crawford chose to leap up to weight classes to challenge Canelo Alvarez. A fighter naturally at 168 pounds is undeniably audacious. Yet Joe Rogan, America's top podcaster and UFC color commentator, sees a clear logic behind Crawford's ambition to face Alvarez during a recent episode of The Joe Rogan. In talk with UFC welterweight champion Belal Muhammad, delved into the motivations driving Crawford's desire to take on Canelo. According to Rogan, Canelo is the best boxer in the game, and the 36-year-old southpaw would make a ton of money if they fight. Rogan mentioned that he thought Crawford was primarily interested in securing a big money fight, noting that the real big money fight would be with Canelo. The 57-year-old combat sports official shared his thoughts during a conversation. Rogan also stated that Crawford's upcoming fight with Canelo would mark the final chapter of his career, perfectly positioning him for retirement.
You know, Crawford is one of the best ever. He's 36.
Rogan remarked that he considered Crawford to be one of the best ever, highlighting that at 36, Crawford might be thinking about getting one big money fight before stepping away. He noted that fighters who have been at the top for so long often look for an opponent at their level, and in Crawford's case, Canelo, who has been in the game just as long, could be that match, potentially for a large paycheck before moving on.
Maybe this is, let me get one big money fight and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But he's got Boots Ennis, knock on his door too, which is another amazing fight, but super dangerous. Just like Benavidez is dangerous, Boots Ennis is very dangerous. Very dangerous.
During the previous chat with the MMA, Crawford unequivocally stated that about with IBF welterweight champ Pierre Ennis is off the table for the immediate future. At just 27, Ennis, while talented, hasn't yet captured the public's imagination or become a big pay-per-view attraction. On the other hand, Canelo checks off two crucial boxes for Crawford: substantial financial gain and a boost to his reputation. Crawford told Daryl Helwani, "Where I'm at right now, I'm looking at the fight that makes the most sense, and that's not Boots. Canelo is going to bring way more to my reputation, way more to my bank account at the end of the day, and boxing is done with what will we have. I want to have a memory that people talk about for ages, and not only that, I want a bank account that will last for ages." Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you like this one.